Okay, so let's start from the 101. So, who and what is Alex Born to Be Wild?
Hey, I'm Alex. So, Alex Born to Be Wild is a queer feminist riot rock band.
I would agree. It's a intersectional, queer, feminist, rock, punk band.
Let's maybe go back to the origins. How did this all come together? What was the start for the band?
So, I'm a intersectional feminist activist for like more than 5 years, and I started to write the stuff I thought which are unfair into lyrics, but I did not dare to sing. And then 2 years ago I started singing, and 2.5 years ago I started to learn singing. And 8th of March, Feminist Fight Day, it was founded because I thought we need a feminist army. Yeah.
And what does a feminist army exactly mean?
Personally, I would describe a feminist army as an army of people who are anti-imperialist, anti-colonial, against colonialism. They're anti-patriarchy. They are for freedom and liberation of all people, and they are on the side of oppressed minorities and equal rights for LGBTQIA people, BIPOC people, SWANA people, the Global South, etc. Also, women, non-binary people, anyone who faces oppression under our current socioeconomic system.
Yeah, nowadays maybe bands more often than not are made in like internet forums. But how did you guys meet, and how did you guys come together?
We met at I would say, Flinter jam session. It's called Girls Noisy. And yeah.
Yeah, I have another. I'm in another band also. We were playing that evening. I think we opened it, and there was a jam session afterwards, and we met at the jam session, and then we met again
At Colors.
Yes.
Video. Yeah.
Yeah, at the music video of a good mutual friend of ours, and from there, yeah, how bands sort of develop. It happens organically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to the music. Well, you know, rock is of course rock, but how would you describe your music and lyrical style, maybe in your own words?
Riot rock. So from the punk rock movement, the girl punk. So like Bikini Kill and so on, Lambrini Girls and so on, and Ho. Yeah, it's basically about smashing the patriarchy, and yeah, it's really holistic and inclusive, and very political. We talk about topics maybe some don't like to talk about because then they're not so likable anymore. Yeah. How you put?
Yeah, I don't think I have any more to add. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just to trigger those people. Then, like as you said, you are a political band. So, what are the issues that most resonate with you?
You want to start? I have so many.
I also have so many. I don't know if I should start.
Yeah. Let's put a little bit punk in the rock. Yeah. I mean, we live in patriarchy. Firstly, we aim also for implementing a consent culture, and the songs are really about creating a consent culture, a feminist movement. Basically, it's about really building a feminist army who are speaking up and fighting for their rights and fighting for other rights who are not as privileged. and who can't maybe speak up because they suffer more violence if they speak up. So it's important that we are voices for all people who are discriminated. Yeah. And be loud and proud.
Maybe I'm also speaking for myself, but I think that an element of it is also anti-capitalist, and is a recognition that capitalism is a system that will ultimately always value capital above human life, and through that will also always lead to the oppression of the people who are not the majority, in whatever context that might be.
Yeah, how do you see music's like chances to affect social and political change in this, turbulent time?
People can relate to it. If they relate to it, I mean, of course, Perpsphere also, they relate to it from another perspective. So this is why they usually leave when we play. So basically, yeah, people relate to it. It's relatable. We talk about topics concerning a lot of people and Flinters especially. And yeah, and it fits in our political times right now because OMG, globally people and countries are marching towards fascism. So it's about time that we are louder and we are visible and we speak up. Right now I think both of us can't even go to America. I think we would both be arrested, and this shows what the system is right now, and in Gaza and London, and I don't know. So it's sad that we have to speak up so loud again, but it's really important right now. Yeah. You?
I think music has, as you say, it always has an element of community in it because it's an artistic element of society that transcends borders and boundaries. So people often from different cultures can relate to something, even when they might not understand the language or the intent behind it. There's still a human connection that often comes through music. And I think that the other thing is that it helps highlight issues that have been ongoing for decades or centuries or even millennia that, again, relate to the oppression of people. It's a way of, especially when we're on the precipice, there are many people who might not be aware of the fundamental issues in our societies, where the oppression stem from. And music is a way of almost educating people, or at least planting the seed that allows them to then educate themselves. And when we're on this precipice and they're between making a choice, maybe of feeling like fascism is the way that they might escape their oppression, but then they might be given another choice, or I would hope that the message we're giving is that there is another choice, and that is through community, building community, through finding value in our shared humanity, and which I would say is the opposition to fascism. And that, I think music can help people plant the seed that maybe leads people to choose something with more hope and with more connection.
Yeah, talking about community and maybe changing the scope from global to a bit more local. From your point of view, how is Berlin treating its bands at the moment? How is it for bands in here?
Okay, how's treating Berlin artists? Underappreciated, because the most bookings are made by endo-cis men, and in general they book more endo-cis men for gigs. So even in punk, we are punk rock, so even in punk, and we are also underpaid. Like there is a big Flinter gender pay gap in Berlin. And this is why I created a community to support each other and beat the odds with sharing the infos, which places were good, which places need to be improved. But also, on the one hand, there is also a lack of funding right now because of the more fascist politics. So a lot of money is basically, deleted from the plan for art, which is also a big factor. And yeah, I think in general, bookers need to book flinter musicians and flinter artists. I hear a lot, oh, there are not a lot of flinter bands. Yes, there are, because I'm collectively summon the flinter bands in Berlin, and I'm collectively approaching them and get them into the community. And right now there are loads. So I can give any booker like so many bands, like, yeah.
And I think a big problem is, and has always been, and I know I keep going back to this, but the problem is that within this current system, our art is always valued, or art in general is always valued based on the capital it produces. And the problem is that if you cannot guarantee that you are going to bring revenue to a venue or to a booker or to an agency or something, the likelihood is they're not going to book you. So you are always faced with a compromise between you're always faced with a compromise of either you're sacrificing your artistic integrity and focusing on popularity, or spreading your true intent, like your truth, so to speak, like what you believe is the right thing, or like the music that you want to express, and accepting that it's likely the system or the people who are in positions of power are not very likely to want to promote or to showcase your music. And it's a sacrifice that sometimes you have to make and we have to accept, because it's the system that we live in ultimately, and we'll always be making that compromise. You can only hope that maybe you find just the right sweet spot where you can still spread your message, whatever that may be. If it's anti-patriarchy, if it's anti-capitalist, anti-sexist, and hope that bookers will still believe in you, will still create spaces for you to play, even when there's no guarantee that they will gain anything from it. Maybe sometimes it's just knowing that they're doing the right thing, that they're booking someone who actually is meaningful or has a message that is important.
You know, commercial clubs are closing down, and as you said, they are like really picking, let's say, money first, you know, who plays and who doesn't. So, but also like youth cultural centers are at the moment homeless or driven also to the corner. So what would be the hope for Berlin in your point of view?
Yeah, the hope, the ideal would definitely be that the shift is the focus is shifting, so that the money goes to cultural stuff instead of like, you know, outbound, for instance. Yeah, and that I feel like the Flinta community now is on the rise though, which is great. So I hope that is continuing to grow, and that we get more attention and can make more impact as well. But yeah, Berlin is such a cultural hub, or at least it used to be. So I would hope that it can continue to be that, and that people wake up and realize that we don't want to destroy the city. We don't want to make it even more a concrete jungle. We want to have young people here flourishing, and everyone can keep being themselves, you know, and come here to express their creativity in different ways. Yeah.
For somebody wanna add to that?
I have answers yeah, sure. I think that given the direction that things are going, I think that more people are coming to a realization that you cannot rely on things like state funding to support art, because again, state funding is really only allocated based on metrics, whatever they may be, maybe like how much tourism can be generated from this, or how much even cultural investment is seen as a way of increasing the value of a city, whether that be for touristic reasons or because it makes the city just look more artistic and more valuable in whatever abstract way. And ultimately, because the
the economy like the economies in the West in general are facing more and more problems, and cities themselves are becoming more and more gentrified, and the value of, say, property in cities is going up. The value of, or the amount of art and the amount of culture will inevitably decline as long as the artists are not able to make money, and it becomes increasingly difficult for them to live in those spaces. So I think that anyone who is in a position of power, who can actually influence the way art exists in a city, faces a very tough dilemma, in that they have to decide if they are willing to lose money on investing in art and culture, in youth clubs, in the future generations of music and art, knowing that this isn't a bit like, say, healthcare also, or something else. This isn't an investment where you can expect to make a return. This is an investment that you make because you understand that one of the most important aspects of human society is art.
Could you tell me a bit about your songwriting process? How do you actually make the music?
I don't know, like I kind of always do it out of the moment. For example, someone wanted me to be nice. And then I was like, fuck being a nice girl. This is how I wrote Nice Girls. Because it's about fuck being a pick-me girl and doing what you want. And don't act like society wants you to be. And in my case, a pretty nice little girl. So, yeah, and Evil Queen was like, I just recently finished last week. Basically, whenever I hear something, it can be that I immediately write it down or record it. Because then it just, basically, I usually have the chorus first. And then, like, Evil Queen is kind of something like Nice Girls. When you reject a guy on the streets, and it's this guy, they usually call you bitch. And then I was thinking, when I rejected a guy and he called me bitch again, and I was like, call me evil queen, call me bad bitch. And I don't know. Yeah. It's about, I write it about I think my anger helps a lot. Like my anger makes me write so many songs actually. I just need to, we basically just work through them. And, but it also helps me when we jam Picket Fence Hell. Like I would really like to do this in the future, maybe jam something and then we write a song together in a jamming. This is what I would love to do actually, yeah.
Yeah, now it's more like you bring the songs that you have made to the band and then we can work with the arrangement together. But we have indeed made some pretty dope jams together where we just create in the moment, and I think once the album is finished, then we can work more in this way. Yeah.
And also Burn the Man from the 1950s was also pretty good.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the album?
I think I call it Red Dress. It's 4 songs are out. It's the first album. It was supposed to be an EP. I just can't stop anger writing, I guess. It will be called Red Dress because I don't know if you know it. There is a Flinter carriages. A lot of news about it because we with a band we kind of did a petition about implementing Flinter spaces in public transport for less harassment and more safe space, and also like kind of consent carriages, so with consent education. So last year I wrote Red Dress. It's about an incident happening to me in the public transport, and then the justice system blaming my red dress for attracting the perpetrator. So it's about kind of, this is a vibe of the stop victim blaming. It is always a perpetrator, never the victim. And it is about a lot of feminist topics, from dating to, I don't know, smashing the patriarchy, to anti-marriage, pro-independence, pro-empowering. It's very empowering even though it has crass topics.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, Wanna Talk, she broke up with one of her exes because...
Yeah, this is a cool story. Like when we met, and we actually met on this Vamper app, like a meetup dating app, not dating, but for meeting musicians. And then we met there, and we had our first rehearsals together, and I was in this relationship, and I really loved the music when we were playing, and I was like, fuck, I enjoy this so much, but I'm in this relationship, so I cannot fully indulge myself in this music because I feel like a fraud because I'm with this man. So then the more I played with this band and the more I talked with Alex, I was like, ah. Then I finally dumped him, and then I could enjoy the band more. And that was great. Yeah, thanks for that.
Self-love.
Yes.
Self-love.
Yeah.
So what songs are gonna be included? I mean, how long have you been working on this music?
A little bit over a year.
Yeah, like almost 2 years now, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many songs are we thinking?
On the album, I think nearly the set list we have today, except Evil Queen.
Like
And Wild and Free, not maybe 10 songs, is
Yeah.
it? 10 songs?
something like this, yeah.
Yeah.
You will see. Surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So continuing on that, like, when are we gonna see, when the album is gonna see the light of day?
We drop the album in each song at a time. Cause production cost, everyone who will listen knows. And yeah. But to be honest, for the next album or EP, I just think we just book a studio for a weekend or a week and just habitate and do that instead of drop a song, drop one song at a time. But I think this is better.
Yeah, maybe looking into the future, what kind of ambitions or dreams do you have for Alex Born to Be Wild? And also regarding the album and the upcoming ones, I've been hearing like the last decade that album is dead, but what's your take?
No.
No. I think with that there is some substance in what you're saying. Like, sure, in today's music business, and if you want to get heard, maybe it's more street smart to drop singles by single. But I don't like this. Like, I know we do it a bit like this, and it's smart, yeah. But I think the concept of an album is really impactful, yeah. And that's also an act of rebellion to keep that that heritage, yeah. We're gonna rule the world and create a feminist army. Yeah.
Yes, feminist army. So everyone who sees us and has a queer feminist spirit or not, or is just an ally. Allies are important, not just, they're super important.
Yeah.
Join us, join the feminist army, and let's smash the patriarchal old shit bullshit rock. Yeah, this is why Alex Born to Be Wild, because Born to Be Wild is such a typical rock song. And it's about creating a new movement. Kiss has Kiss Army. This is why I took Feminist Army to also smash this. So yeah, the Feminist Army on the rise with our feminist community, I guess, yeah. And you? What's the future outlook?
Oh, don't ask me. Not good. I mean, I'd realistically, but yeah, I hope for the liberation of all oppressed peoples.
Yes.
I think music will be what it is. I just hope humanity can find itself, and I hope we can get rid of capitalism and replace it with something better. Far better.